Victoria Principal was born on January 3, 1950, in Fukuoka, Japan, where her father was stationed with the United States Air Force after World War II. From the very beginning, her life reflected diversity, travel, and adaptation. Because of her father's military service, Victoria and her sister moved frequently, living in places such as London, Puerto Rico, Florida, Georgia, and Massachusetts. Each new home brought unfamiliar faces, customs, and rhythms of life, teaching her resilience and curiosity. Though the constant relocation made lasting friendships difficult, it also helped her develop confidence and emotional independence at an early age. Her mother provided stability and warmth, while her father instilled discipline and a strong sense of responsibility. This blend of structure and creativity shaped Victoria's personality and gave her a broad worldview, one that later influenced both her acting career and her business success. From ballet and medicine to a new calling, Victoria's early education reflected her wide range of interests and determination. She attended the Royal Ballet School in London, where she learned poise, discipline, and physical expression, even though ballet would not become her lifelong path. After graduating high school in Florida, she enrolled in a medical program at Miami-Dade Community College, drawn by a genuine desire to help others. Her future seemed headed toward medicine until a serious accident forced her to pause and reflect. During her long recovery, Victoria reconsidered what truly inspired her. That moment became a turning point, leading her to pursue acting instead of returning to medical studies. She moved to New York and immersed herself in modeling and auditions, while training seriously in drama. Her decision was not impulsive but deeply personal, guided by the realization that life was fragile and passion deserved priority over fear or convention. Early film roles and lessons in resilience. Victoria's first major film appearance came in 1972, when she starred opposite Paul Newman in The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. The role brought her instant recognition and a Golden Globe nomination, confirming her potential in Hollywood. Soon after, she appeared in other films that met mixed responses, teaching her an early lesson about the unpredictable nature of the entertainment industry. Some projects succeeded, while others failed to leave a lasting impact, and Victoria began to feel discouraged by the lack of meaningful opportunities. Rather than surrendering to frustration, she explored working behind the scenes and even considered studying law. These detours reflected her intelligence and adaptability rather than indecision. Her willingness to step away from the spotlight for clarity showed a maturity beyond her years. Each setback quietly strengthened her resolve and prepared her for the defining role that would soon transform her career forever. Dallas and the rise of a television icon. In 1978, Victoria Principal accepted the role of Pamela Barnes Ewing on the television series Dallas, a decision that reshaped her life and legacy. The show quickly became one of the most popular dramas in television history, and her portrayal of Pamela earned admiration across the world. She brought warmth, emotional depth, and strength to the character, making her relatable and unforgettable. Her on-screen partnership with Patrick Duffy became legendary, and her work earned award nominations that solidified her place among television's elite performers. For 9 years, Victoria balanced fame with professionalism, navigating the demands of success while building financial and creative independence. Dallas was not only a career triumph, but also a platform that allowed her to grow beyond acting. It gave her confidence, visibility, and the foundation to later pursue production and entrepreneurship with the same determination she once brought to performance. Personal relationships and independence. Victoria's personal life reflected the same search for balance and growth that defined her career. Her first marriage in the late 1970s was brief, ending quietly as both partners discovered their paths were moving in different directions. Later, she married Dr. Harry Glassman, with whom she shared 2 decades of partnership marked by mutual respect and ambition. During this time, she built her skincare business and devoted herself to charitable work, especially in environmental and animal welfare causes. Though the marriage eventually ended, it did so amicably, reflecting her belief that people can evolve without bitterness. Victoria chose not to remarry and remained childless by choice, emphasizing self-awareness and independence over social expectations. Her life decisions demonstrated confidence in her own values and a commitment to personal growth, proving that fulfillment can be found through purpose, creativity, and compassion rather than traditional definitions of success. Meeting Andy Gibb at the height of fame, Victoria Principal met Andy Gibb in 1981 when both were at the peak of their careers. She was a star of Dallas, and Andy was a chart-topping singer whose music captivated millions. Their connection was immediate and intense, built on admiration, charm, and emotional openness. To the public, they seemed like a glamorous and perfect couple, symbolizing romance in the spotlight. Victoria later reflected that Andy possessed a gentle spirit and youthful vulnerability that drew her in deeply. Their time together was filled with laughter, shared dreams, and a sense of hope for the future. Yet fame also brought pressure, expectations, and emotional strain. Their relationship unfolded under constant attention, making privacy difficult and challenges harder to navigate. What began as a joyful romance slowly became a test of endurance, revealing how love can be complicated when shaped by public life and personal struggles. Love confronted by difficult realities. As Victoria has since shared, loving Andy also meant facing realities she could not ignore. He struggled with inner battles that affected both his health and career, and Victoria found herself torn between devotion and concern. She believed in living with discipline and emotional clarity, and watching someone she loved drift further from stability became painful. Over time, she realized that love alone could not heal what required personal commitment and professional help. Ending the relationship was not a rejection of Andy, but an act of self-respect and responsibility. Victoria has explained that walking away was one of the hardest choices she ever made, driven by the belief that staying would only prolong pain for them both. Her decision reflected maturity and compassion rather than anger. It was a moment of understanding that sometimes letting go is an expression of care, not abandonment. Loss and the weight of unspoken words. When Andy Gibb passed away in 1988 at the age of 30, the news deeply affected Victoria. Though they had been apart for years, the emotional bond they shared never fully disappeared. She later admitted that his death felt like the closing of an unfinished chapter in her life. There were conversations she wished they had shared and healing she hoped he would experience. Grief came quietly and privately, shaped by memories of laughter, long talks, and dreams that never reached their full potential. Victoria has spoken of this loss not with bitterness, but with sorrow and reflection. It reminded her of how fragile life can be and how deeply relationships can shape the heart. Andy's passing became a lasting emotional marker, one that transformed youthful romance into a lesson about compassion, boundaries, and the importance of protecting both oneself and those we love. Peace with the past and gratitude for memories. With time, Victoria found a way to look back on her relationship with Andy with warmth rather than pain. She remembers him as someone who carried light, creativity, and sensitivity, even when he struggled to protect himself from darker forces. Their shared moments remain meaningful to her, filled with affection and genuine connection. Rather than defining their story by its tragic ending, she honors the happiness they once shared. In later interviews, Victoria has expressed gratitude for having known him at all, believing that love, even when brief or complicated, leaves behind wisdom and growth. Her reflections show a woman who has transformed heartbreak into understanding and memory into acceptance. Andy remains a part of her emotional history, not as a symbol of loss, but as a reminder of how deeply two people can connect, even when their paths ultimately separate. A story of maturity, reflection, and humanity. At 75, Victoria Principal's words about Andy Gibb reveal not scandal but human truth. Her story is one of youth, fame, love, and the difficult lessons that follow. She has chosen to speak with grace rather than regret, and with compassion rather than judgment. What once seemed like a glamorous romance now stands as a deeply personal chapter of growth and emotional clarity. Victoria's reflections remind fans that behind celebrity images exist real hearts, vulnerable and searching for meaning. Her journey shows that love can shape us even when it ends, and that healing comes through honesty and time. In honoring Andy's memory while also honoring her own choices, Victoria demonstrates strength and wisdom. Her story is ultimately about resilience, forgiveness, and the quiet courage it takes to look back with peace instead of pain.